Welcome into episode
11! 1 double uno. I don't know.
12 minus 1.
12 minus 1.
I'm your host, Tyler Asher.
I am your co-host, Tiffany Anton, with the Biz Foundry.
Oh, good Lord. Today, we're just throwing a curveball.
We've gotten some feedback that we're saying that they wanted us to think outside the box a little bit.
So, we're changing up the whole format today. Whole format's changed up.
Well, maybe some pieces of it.
So, just some degree.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a fun. This is going to be a great episode.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some things that
pretty
we like, we don't like.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some people who have influences.
That we like, that we don't like. Stay tuned to see if your name's on either list.
And then we're going to talk about something that entrepreneurs face, we face,
For sure. Burnout.
So let's jump outside the box.
Outside the box. Tell me what your favorite part of your job is.
Favorite part of my job is I love getting to help people. I love getting to sit down and talk to people about their dream, what they want to do. Is it realistic? Is it viable? Can you do it? Can you make money? To me, that's just, like I tell people all the time, like I have the greatest job. I literally help people chase their dream.
Especially over the last year, you were like Santa Claus. You were giving out a lot of...
You get some money.
Yeah.
Get some money.
Well, maybe like Oprah, yeah.
You get a website.
Right.
You get this.
Right, yeah. And
that was awesome.
You get a podcast. What?
So it's been a lot of fun. Like that's the best part of my job. I love getting people where they need to be. I love the position that I'm in. We get to be in on things that are like on the down low, that's on the hush hush, that we're a part of, which is exciting because like I know things that are coming and I want to tell, but you can't.
Yeah.
You get to meet with like a lot of mayors. You get to eat with, state reps, senators, congressmen.
Yeah, we got to do a day on the Hill. Launch Tennessee did a day on the Hill. And so we went around to that takes me back to I think I've done days on the Hill as a kid and met with
it's totally different as an adult.
It doesn't feel that different to me. I still get excited about it. I still think
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I think it's, I feel like my job, I live beyond my wildest dreams. I never thought I would get to do the things I'm doing.
Me too. That's what I think about is the best part of my job because you get to help people. You see how things run and operate. I have a totally different view of government. Now that I'm in this role and I've been in meetings involved, some of the things that I thought were important in government are kind of irrelevant almost.
Yeah.
And the things you didn't think anything about are the most important things.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't think about the kind of the ecosystem of small businesses and how much they really do influence the way a community.
They affect the government. I mean, it's
yeah, both.
But that's
ways.
the best part of my job. What's the best part of your job?
The best part of my job is I feel like I'm a connector. I don't necessarily feel like I have a lot of knowledge or skills myself, but I feel like I can put the right people together. I think I know a lot of people, and then I can say, oh, you need this, what, XYZ. I feel like we maybe have talked about that before, of just being able to connect the right people together. We were at the Biz Foundry. We have a developer working in our space, and we have somebody that's was working on an app, and they kind of connected together, and he ended up the one hired the other, and I'm like, this is what it's all about, is making those connections.
Networking.
And I love that we have that space to see it happen in front of our face.
And it gives you the feel goods, on the days where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And you have to think about days like that.
And the other part that I get to do a lot is I work a bit more with the our women population, and I just get to be a cheerleader for them. I get to, one conversation that stands out in my mind a lot is that a woman came in and she had built a game, and she said, I'm not even creative. I can't tell a joke. And I'm like, but you did this. And so be proud of what you did. And she said, nobody would believe it. And it's like, who cares what people believe? You did. And people thought she was really going to be mad at me. And she left, she brought me a loaf of bread the next day that she had baked because she was I think she was thankful for the conversation we had. And I loved being able to be that influence on her and put a good mark on her day. So what's the worst part of your job?
The worst part of my job is probably in two faces. One, Mr. Farley's here, he'd laugh. I hate reporting. That's the worst part of my job.
Yeah.
I hate reporting. I'm a little bit of a procrastinator when it comes to that. Like I I hate doing it. Like, I like doing my job. That is the downside of, like, all the reporting you have to do and turn those in. I'm just not, it's just not my thing. That's not me. Mine is out connecting, figuring out what people need, how I can get them to do, not reporting like, oh, how many hours did you do this? And how many hours did you do that? That's probably 50-50 on the worst part of my job. Another worst part of my job is telling people that their idea is not going to be profitable or it's not going to be a good idea. That's hard because you want everyone to like chase their dream. You want people to have the freedom to be their own boss if they want to be. And it's very difficult sometimes to tell people like, hey, this isn't going to work. Like, you're not going to make money. We don't live in a certain area that will see a need for this, or yes, in theory, your idea is great, but also like it's not going to work. It's just not going to work here.
Yeah.
And so that part stinks. Or when someone has a really good idea and their finances aren't where they need to be and they can't get funding, you know, and it's a great idea and it would be successful. They just need help getting over that financial hurdle, and it's, you know, you only got so many options.
Yeah.
What's the worst part of your job?
I think with my job in a leadership position with the Biz Foundry is just trying to stay organizing a team. I've struggled to be a team leader and make sure everybody knows what their roles are, and make sure that I'm bringing the best out of those people. I really believe in the team that we have, and I want to make sure that we're all, I want the Biz Foundry to succeed and do the best it can, you know. And I really, that makes me kind of realize how hard it is for our entrepreneurs that we work with, that to make sure that as they grow and they hire other people, how important it is for them to have the right team, because I know what that is like sometimes. So without further ado.
Let's talk about worst part.
Oh.
Let's just go right into the next segment.
Yeah, our big picture.
Big picture.
Today.
Burnout.
Is about burnout, yeah.
We'll talk about us, and then we can talk about entrepreneurs. How do you avoid burnout?
And I think I just said something about this in a post within the last month or two, is I said, I like being busy. I like doing until I don't. And I just get to the point where I'm like, nope, I got to get away. I maybe want to feel like I want to punch people in the face. I like to travel. So I like to actually get out, get away. I have family in Michigan. I go to Michigan often. My best friend's in Virginia. I go there a lot. So I like to get out of the environment I'm in. And even if I'm still working, remotely, being in a different environment is great. I expend, and I think you're probably that way too, is you expend a lot of energy on people. And so when you're on, you're on. I mean, when I walk in the office in the morning,
I don't have time to be off.
Right. Most days when I walk in, I am a lot of energy in the morning. And so that is a lot day after day after day, And so when I need to turn off, I need to turn off. And
Yes, I agree. 100%.
Yeah. So what and obviously I can't always travel or get away, and so I will do things of mental health things, of just trying to kind of get out of the office, spend time with the kids,
I'm the travel. I need to go. Mm-hmm. I need to go somewhere. We've gotten a lot better over the last, pre-COVID, after COVID. We try to go somewhere once a quarter. Mm-hmm. In the spring we do spring break. We try to go somewhere. Summer we try to go somewhere big. The beach. I love going to the beach. I like hanging out. Just hanging out. We went. It's probably been a month or so ago. We went to the beach, and I was really proud of myself, because normally, in previous roles, I would always just carry my phone with me when I went to the beach, when I did things. That whole trip, I never took a single phone to the beach. I left them in the room.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a huge step of stepping away, kind of clearing my head, getting things right, figuring where. And a lot of times too, when I go on vacation and look at things, I take some time to just sit back and be like, all right, how can I get better? How can I be better at what I'm doing? Bring more options, or bring more things to my position, to my career. How can I help? The development district, how can I help the development district go forward in my role? And so it was just nice to step away and not have a phone to be tied to. Now,
How
yes,
often do you not check, like, because when I leave, a lot of times I keep my phone, because I'm the kind of on call for opening the doors at the office, or, you know, just little things here and there. And so I don't really fully check out very often, but every now and then I do. I've taken a couple trips over the last couple of years that I'm like, I'm out. Don't call me. Don't touch, you know.
That's, I think just in my role, I turn like my out office on my emails and to let people know like, hey, I'm out. If it's something really big, like I'm going to forward it, I'm going to call them or something, you know.
Yeah.
But if it's something that can wait until I get back, it's going to wait until I can get back.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I handle it so that I'm not, I truly get to kind of shut down and kind of reflect.
But see, I'm the type that if a text comes through, I had surgery a couple months ago, and the day of my surgery and the day after my surgery, I said, please just don't contact me, period. Because if I see a text come through,
you're going to answer.
Yeah, like I could be just out of my, you know, anesthesia and be like, oh, well, they need coffee beans. Let me get them coffee beans, you know? Like that's just who I am. So it's hard for me to really get out.
I think that's our personalities in that I'm one of those people, when I'm in, I'm all in. I don't just halfway do it. Like if I'm all in, I'm all in.
Right.
And that's just needing that to be able to take that break and burn out.
Yeah.
So
are you good about catching it before you get to that point?
I think in the last little bit I've gotten better about that.
Yeah.
But when I owned a business, no, I was not.
Well, I think that the difference between what we're doing and owning your own business is that there's a fallback, is that your paycheck's still going to come through.
With vacation time.
Yeah, and so I think entrepreneurs don't give themselves that vacation time, and they don't think that they deserve that vacation time, or they think that they're not going to get a paycheck. And in some instances, if you're not, you know, if you don't have any employees and you have no one else to help you, you're not going to get a paycheck. But if you push yourself to the extreme of having a mental breakdown, you're not going to get a paycheck either.
Yeah, you're going to be in the mental hospital.
So, you know, there's a balance.
And that's something, too, like a lot of times when I meet with entrepreneurs, I try to get them to think of, if you have one day where I was working with one and their day off was Wednesday. She did other things. I said, because she had people that cover her space for her retail space. I said, Wednesday's your day. That's the day you schedule your doctor's appointments. If you need to get a massage or get your hair done, I said, Wednesday is your day. And everybody at the office knows that on Wednesday, they don't call you. Unless it's on fire or it's flooded or whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody calls you. That's your day to yourself. You shouldn't have to worry about your place. That's your day to keep. I think that's how you can avoid burnout being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Is making sure that you take that time. Well, and I had this was maybe almost a year ago where I just felt like I was just treading water, and I just couldn't kind of recharge. And I texted an entrepreneur friend and I said, what do you do in these situations? And she said, sometimes I just go to Dogwood and I read a magazine, turn my phone off for half a day, and I just read a magazine at Dogwood. Or, you know, you have to kind of find those things, and a lot of times it has to be that you unplug, that you clear your mind, you stop thinking about business stuff, and you really just let go.
Check out, do your thing. I think that's me personally. Like I keep my sanity by building things, but then it's
and having hobbies. But then now you're kind of like that isn't probably as much of a hobby as it used to be.
As
you know,
turned into a
because when you turn it into a
business, it goes bananas.
Yeah.
But which is great. I mean, it's been awesome. But I use it as a relaxation of stepping out, kind of getting to like do the, you know, what we do a lot is mental work. Like we mentally, like we work with people, we look at numbers, we look at
There's
strategies.
a little bit of therapistness in our occupations.
Yes. And sometimes people just want you to listen. But for me, like building, that was like that physical, like you work with your hands.
Yeah.
It's physically demanding. It kind of helps get all this, I feel like, get the stress out of you maybe.
Well, and you know what? I'm going to say I think this podcast might be a little bit of a way to kind of recharge and
talk about what we do.
Right. Yeah, well, and I think just, kind of get your creative juices out. I don't really consider myself a creative person much.
I'm not creative.
As we sit in Cookville Creative. But I just think that, it's just changing up what we do.
Which goes back to why this episode, we decided to totally change the whole outlook of what we're doing.
Switch it up.
And now we're just going to kind of go into...
Drinking the Coke Zeros today. No Kool-Aid.
Anthony said we had to drink these. We can't drink Kool-Aid anymore.
Coke Zeros for today. And today we're going to do...
Local influencers. So when you think of... Okay, so you haven't lived here as long as I have. So I'm going to go you first. Mm-hmm. When you think of local influencers, who are the first 5 people come to your mind?
Well, and let's define what an influencer is.
I feel this is for me, and I think there's 2 different types of influencers. When I think of someone who's on social media and they're like, oh, you have all these followers, that's not really kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think of an influencer as someone locally that you can call and they can make things happen, or they can give you really good advice on how to proceed with something, or if you have them at your event, they're really supportive of what you do.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Top 5. Amber, Phil, and Jared.
And I'm going to ask you, because we've talked about Amber a lot. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Amber. Give me your reason why you think she's a big influencer.
She has just the biggest heart. I texted her maybe a couple weeks ago and I said, I just love that you love people, and I said, I've never felt like you don't have time for me. She makes everyone feel like they're important.
It's awesome.
And so I think that's, yeah. C.G. England.
Okay.
Zach Buckner.
Dude, Zach was mine.
3.
You stole it?
You let me go first. I'm going to say Casey Overstreet.
Okay.
And...
Don't take my other ones.
A 5th influencer. I'm going to go with Ricky Shelton. So I think that, people who I think can people in the area listen to, they look to. If I want somebody to tell the world, go do this or come to this event or, this business is, I would go to those 5 people.
And you think you could go to those 5 people and talk about why you think they're influential?
I'm not sure that Ricky Shelton knows who I am or anything like that, but I think that people listen to him. He can get stuff done.
I agree, 100%.
So what are your top 5?
My top 5. I'm going to say Rich Froning is a really big community influencer in this town. Caitlin Stiegley. I think she is very good at community advocacy and helping people. I think that's her calling. I think you can look at... You stole Zach. I've known Zach forever. That's... Ugh.
Okay, fine. We didn't say we have to have 5 unique ones.
I think you could look at Amy New in her role, chamber president. She's got strong family ties here. I think that's another good one. You could look at Dave Rowland, who's a lifelong,
literally his business is to be influential. Yeah. And I know he can be somewhat controversial, but controversial sells.
Sometimes influential.
Yeah.
Where am I
at? 4. You got 4.
I'm at 4.
So.
You
talked about him too?
I did talk about him too. I think Ben Prine can be a very influential person. He's always just got a great personality, easy to approach.
I think overarching thing, and I'm going to say, even though it could be controversial to some people, all those people have a big heart for Cookville.
Oh, yeah. Huge
and
heart.
So they just... And again, whether you believe that some of them are giving in the right way or the wrong way, they're still giving in some way.
Oh, yeah. And they care about their community. They want to see it do better. regardless of where you're at.
Right. I can't, even and I'm not going to say who I think is controversial or whatnot, but
Yeah.
I think, even the people that maybe are in the news for not the greatest, you can't say that their intention in their own heart isn't for the best of Cookville.
100%.
I think that all those people truly, truly, truly want the best for.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I
mean, we actually have a list of people we were discussing. I mean, you could go down the list of Ryan and Abby Williams.
For sure. Matt and Kelly Swallows.
Becky
McGurra.
Who's, huge. I feel like Becky is...
She's lived in 2 houses her whole life. I probably have said that. Like, yeah, I had her on a.
I love it when you call Becky and you say, Becky, is this something we can do, or what do you think about this? And I feel like you could call her at 2 a.m. and you're gonna get the same energy level as you would at 10 o'clock a.m.
Maybe 10 o'clock a.m. 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
I'm not sure that Becky wants anybody to call her at 2
Well, I know,
a.m.,
but I feel like when you see her, it's the same energy level, whether it's in the morning, night.
Well, that's the other thing I think with a lot of those people. Like I said, I'm not sure that Rich Fronny or Ricky Shelton would know who I was walking down the street. But, I think a lot of those people, they look at me the same way as they would look at any of the other people we have on the list. And so they would, Becky would not say... I can't talk to Tiffany right now because Amber Flynn Jared's in the room. Like, yeah. They genuinely make you feel like, Becky McGurl makes me feel like I'm Amber Flynn Jared when I walk in a room. So I think that's the thing. They just are genuine people and genuine humans
that care about our community.
Yeah, and I like the other thing that we talked about a little bit is that some people just have influential positions.
Oh, yeah.
And is one more important, or they have influential positions, or they've kind of like made themselves have a following just by who they are and what they've done. I think for the most people realize Amber Flynn Jared sells houses, but she does a million other things too. She's always posting, here's the things to go that are going on around town this weekend, and here's the things to, here's businesses to stop in. And I think that people, there could be people who forget that that's what she does, is sell houses, because she does so many other things.
Correct.
So she's influential not just because of her position, like a Randy Porter. He's influential. He can get stuff done because he's in a position of power in leadership in the community.
But he's also been here for a very long time.
Yeah.
And he had other positions prior to that.
Yeah.
So, I think he's another one who truly cares
Mark
about...
Farley is another one.
Mark Farley is another one.
I think he's kind of an undersold one, but he's been here forever, and he really cares about the Upper Cumberland.
If it's something good for the Upper Cumberland, he is going to be all about doing it.
And he really just truly has a heart for what he's doing. I don't see him ever leaving the development district.
I would say this if he was sitting here, and I've said this a million times, and people laugh when I say this. He's probably one of the few people that if a house was on fire and he was going in, I wouldn't care to go in right behind him. It's just great leadership. We're going to have him on the podcast to talk about leaders and how to create a good team. But he's one of those people that just creates things that you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And I would say that if he was sitting here, I would say that. So I think those are important people to have in your community. But also I think as a business owner, those are the people that you need to watch. I feel like those are people that are worth buying lunch and just picking their brain. I think if you're a business owner, I think the people we've talked about today, it's worth a $15 lunch at a local restaurant to just say, hey,
these people are probably going to be like, God, why did they name me?
Why did they name me?
I haven't paid for lunch in 3 months, but but I can't get any time to myself.
I think as a business owner, not necessarily like getting them to sell your product, but they know people. And I go back to my thing. I think businesses fail for 2 reasons. They don't have enough money, and they don't have a big enough network. These people can help increase your network. I think even if you're listening to this podcast and you're not even in the Upper Cumberland, you can take this to wherever you live. There are people that are movers and shakers that they can help you in a way that no one else could ever help you.
Mm-hmm. And they're approachable.
And most of those people are. You could easily call every one of those people on our list that we've come up with, and just say, hey, I'd like to take you to lunch. I'd like to discuss what I'm doing.
Tell them you know Tyler and Tiffany.
that may cost you a lot of money. I probably wouldn't do that. That could seriously cost you a lot of money. But I feel like those people can give you good advice, talk about how important, things are, especially in the community. Maybe you want to grow your business. Maybe they can give you advice that is not actual business advice, but like, hey, just get involved. Like, hey, hey, I work with a nonprofit over here, and they're always looking for volunteers, and this would be a great way to just help get you out there.
Give back, yeah. Good points. It's all good.
Well,
we hope you enjoyed this Outside of the Box podcast.
It's time for us to clock out.
Clock out. Cash the check.
Go. It's time to go to the bank. Cash the check. I mean, like.
Thank you for listening to episode 11.
Let us know if you like this format.
We're almost halfway there.
Through the first season.
For season 1. Pretty exciting. And like and share, subscribe, and tell all your friends. Cashin the Check is where it's at.
Shout out to Mark Farley, Jeff Brown for letting us do this. We have the best job. So, guys, guess what? It's time for us to clock out. We're done.